I'm Mike.
And I'm Adam.
And this is Stuff and Waffle. Two friends talking about stuff, and often as not, waffling with frequent reference to Bond cars. There was a new Bond film recently, you probably noticed.
You were sat next to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So I was, yeah. Well, there we go then. Then you will have done.
I do recall.
Yes. And in the beginning of that film, one of his cars featured quite heavily.
Yeah, it does. Yep, it's that silver one, isn't it?
That's that silver one that he seems to quite like. Yeah, that's right. Comes up again and again.
It does. Yeah.
I always forget the name, but that one. Yeah, that one. And its introduction there at the beginning was possibly one of the biggest introductions, one of the biggest Bond car sequences. Actually, it was quite a lengthy sequence with that car in this particular movie.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, fair. Yeah.
It got me thinking that a variety of vehicles over the years, and some of them have been more fleeting than others. Some of them have been better treated than others. And I just thought, the cars, particularly for us, are a big part of the movies. They're almost like characters in their own right.
That's right. Yeah.
I got to thinking that, what the introduction of the cars in each movie, and some were better, some were worse, and I thought, let's have a little ponder here, as we do, and think what were the best introductions of the Bond vehicles.
Best introductions. Okay, that's interesting. I'll tell you what. Actually, but if you're going best, I'm just going to pop one in that I think's a contender for worst.
Okay.
Just to get it out the way so that no further discussion is required. That was the Z3 in GoldenEye. Dreadful.
Yeah, it was dreadful. It was in Q's workshop, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really bad. All these gadgets and wonderfulness. Didn't see it again. Then when we got
behind
to Cuba,
the headlights, Stinger missiles.
Yes, wonderful. That's great. I'd love a car like that. Then we get to Costa Rica, Cuba, wherever they ended up.
Cuba, yeah.
And they do a little drive behind a plane. They tell Wade not to push the buttons, and that was it.
Yeah, that's gone. Yeah, I know. Completely pointless.
Product placement. Would you like to buy one of these? No.
Yes, that's no, and no one did. It. That is. I think you've probably come up with the worst there right at the beginning. Yeah, that was utterly pointless. Yes,
that's it. So that's Yeah, all right. We can. The only way is up from there, really, isn't it?
Think so.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. Although the BMW era generally in Bond was not strong.
Yeah, but at least everything else had a little bit of something about it.
Yes, true.
The 750 that had the whole car park thing.
Why didn't they have him re-record that?
Because we wouldn't have anything to talk about if he'd said it properly.
It's puzzled me.
Yes. Even the
Z8. No, Desmond, you don't say it like that.
Oh, no, I do. Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, like Z8, that at least had a bit of action at the caviar factory, didn't it?
It fired a rocket and got sawn in half. Yes.
Yeah, it was more eventful than a Z3, so we'll have that.
It was.
Yeah.
And was a more interesting car.
By miles. Yeah, a bit more exclusive. Yes. You certainly don't see those ever.
Quite sought after now.
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah. So, all right.
So there was that. Yes,
we've dealt with that. I mean, the introduction of any. I mean, like you said, the Z3 Q's lab bit boring. The 750 at the airport. A lot more interesting, actually, with the remote control malarkey.
I think so, and it had a good sequence in the car park.
Yes.
really good sequence in the car park. Actually, good
Yeah.
music, good action. The car park itself is brilliant for car spotting. We've touched on that before.
Oh yeah, we
Um,
went all over that.
we did.
So
So
that
I
was
think I think that worked well. But shall we try and go through this a little bit chronologically?
yes. Sorry, yeah, I got sidetracked by Brosnan, and
You did.
yep,
The horribleness of the Z4.
yeah.
Yes.
Right, okay, go on then. Let's attempt it vaguely in order.
Well,
Um,
let's start at the very beginning then,
mhm.
and please jump in if I miss something interesting. Um, the Sunbeam Alpine in Doctor No.
Yeah,
Now that in the story is a hire car, isn't it?
that's right. Yeah,
And he picks it up at the airport, I believe, or is it? No, it's delivered to his hotel.
that's correct.
It's
Yeah,
delivered to
hotel.
his
Yeah,
hotel. Yes, delivered to his hotel, and then he drives it up into the mountains. And yes, there's some terrible back projection action.
a little bit. Yeah,
Yes,
he has an incident with some henchmen,
he
and
does.
I think they were on the way to a funeral. I believe was
Funeral.
yeah.
Yes.
So that all
Yeah.
happens, but it was the 60s. It's
It
pretty much
was.
it's bang on, really.
It was the 60s. It was a very low budget film. Um I mean the car doesn't really get an introduction as such. He's just kind of driving it.
No, that happens to be it.
Yeah.
That's not his personal car by any stretch.
No,
That just
a
happened
hire
to be the
car.
one that he's in.
Yeah, that's right. So you could argue that's not a brilliant introduction. Quite a sought after little car these days. Um
And not horrendous money, actually.
No, quite obtainable.
Yeah.
If you can find one that's
Mm.
in one piece. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, yeah, I know someone who's got one actually.
Oh,
I discovered recently, but
very good.
indeed, so he lives locally, so there is one about. But yeah, in terms of introductions, not brilliant. It's just kind of there, isn't it?
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
Now, From Russia with Love is quite car light, isn't it? Um, Bond doesn't actually have a car in that film, I don't think. Well, we see him with his Bentley
Yeah, right
at
at
the
the
very
beginning,
beginning,
yeah.
his Bentley 4 litre.
That's right.
But he doesn't have a car as such. He drives a pickup truck at one point,
Firmly
but
not his.
firmly not his. No,
No.
that gets a bit knackered.
Yeah.
And yeah, there isn't really another
No.
car in that.
No, that's we've touched on before. It's all traditional spy film espionage.
It is.
It's not about motor vehicles. It's about tomfoolery on a train
It is.
between rival agents. It's yeah,
Little bit of Citroen traction Avant action in
quite.
there
Yep, yep,
when they're in Istanbul. Yes.
yep, yep.
Um,
But
but
yeah,
other
not.
than that, it's quite car light. Yeah.
Mm.
That is made up for, of course, in
Uh, yes.
in the next film. Um, Now this is probably one of the best introductions.
Mm.
Um,
I think this is the contender for top, isn't it?
I think it is possibly contender for top.
Mm.
Yes. Oh, where's my Bentley? Yes.
That's had its
It's
day, I'm afraid. 007.
very good. You'll be using this Aston Martin DB5 with modifications. Yes, indeed.
And oh, what a glorious introduction! I
And
mean, kind
just
of out of nowhere because we've gone from Russia with Love with a briefcase that is the most sort of hint of gadgets we've had. But you can believe a spy of that era having a briefcase like that.
oh, absolutely. A little knife that pops out and
Yeah,
some gold coins in there in case you need them and an exploding canister. That's all very much of the time, isn't
and
it?
that's it. But
Um,
a modified Aston, that's very different. That's something a bit special.
oh, yes. Well, Goldfinger really had a much more lavish style, didn't it, to the previous two? And yeah, the introduction of that in Q's Lab, just the way the camera pans across it, and
Mm,
there it is, and then Q demonstrates all the various toys. Um,
mm.
and I just think it's It's glorious, and its position in the story and in the film really gives it a kind of movie star quality.
Yes, because
Um,
it's not in there for the sake of it. It's a part of the story. It's bang on.
yeah, it is, and there are several scenes where it's just driving. It's not all about the gadgets. I mean, when he's trailing Goldfinger through Switzerland, he's just driving it along most of the
Mm,
time. There's a lot of scenes of that car just driving along,
that's right.
not in a chase, not using gadgets or anything. He's just, yeah,
Mm.
discipline 007. Yes,
But it's just yeah, you're right. It's up there. It's got to be right up there for best intros.
I think so. And it's those sequences that gave that car that legendary status.
Yes,
Um, and it's you could argue that it gave the car, more of a star quality than it really possessed, but um,
well, yeah, I suppose, but uh, yeah, but
it
we
was
all
just,
wanted it though, didn't we? We've
yeah,
all had the model cars in various forms over the years.
yes, absolutely. It worked well. It worked
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Um,
Your reasoning was exactly right because it was part of the story, not just thrown in for the sake of it. It's
yes,
not a BMW Z3.
it's not. No,
No,
it isn't in any way. No,
no. So
indeed.
yes, that's the one.
So I think that is a contender for the best. And of course, it returned in the next film, um,
It did.
and its
Uh,
introduction in the pre-title sequence with the water cannons out the back. Again, we've covered that particular scene before, and the fact
mhm.
that it was actually a different car. But again, its use in Thunderball, there was a lot of just ordinary driving sequences with it. It wasn't all about gadgets.
That's right.
Um,
It was. I mean, there was a bit of a chasing issue, but he didn't actually get to really use gadgets
he didn't need to, did he?
because,
Um,
yeah, that was dealt with by his red-headed lady. Um,
Redhead lady on the motorbike, yes, shot
quite
the Ford Fairlane, I believe it was.
correct. Yes.
Yes, indeed. And that went kaboomski.
Yes.
But yes, the Aston didn't actually do anything
Didn't
in those
really
sequences.
didn't really do much. I mean, and it had all its fanfare in Goldfinger, really, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Um, and
Um,
that's where the legend um, comes from, really.
yeah.
Is
Um,
it's
So you couldn't really say that there was an intro in Thunderball because it was the same car, and aside from a bit of water jets, it was
I suppose it wasn't an introduction to it then. No, that's fair
no.
to say. That's fair to say. There is a brief sequence with a Mustang, isn't there, in Thunderball? An,
Yes,
an original Mustang in an awful color. Um,
yeah. Mind you, I suppose you could say the same for Goldfinger. Actually, we got a bit of Mustang action in
oh,
there.
that's true. That's true.
That's
Yes, I
two
hadn't
films,
thought of
two
that.
Mustangs.
Yes,
Yes.
I'd never considered that before. You're right. Yes, there's a Mustang in both of those movies. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was half of the discipline issue in Goldfinger, and then Thunderball
Yes.
was I no desire to be capsized twice in one night. Yes,
Do you fly here often?
yes,
Yes, indeed.
yeah. So ladies in Mustangs, that was
That's a problem, isn't it? Yeah.
mm,
Convertible
problem,
Mustangs, obviously.
obviously,
Um, obviously, yes.
but yeah, that's
Sure convenient. Um, yes, fair dues. I think that's probably time to move on then.
yeah. So we're off to Japan now.
We're now off to Japan. You only live twice, and well,
Not strictly his vehicle,
not his vehicle, but it certainly had an impact. The Toyota 2000 GT
convertible.
convertible. Yes, the
Yes,
only one that existed at that
yes,
point.
because yes, you've got a lanky Scotsman, and he doesn't fit in the
He wouldn't
coupe,
fit in the little Japanese sports car. No, that's right.
and quite the vehicle. I mean, it's just every time it appears in there, there's some piece of action going on,
Yeah,
and it was just it was genius. That
It was
uh,
lovely bit of car casting, that
mm,
wasn't it? Yeah. I don't know quite how that came about, but
no, that's a strange one, really. But
yeah.
Toyota certainly jumped on some sort of bandwagon there and went, "Yep, that'll do."
I mean, maybe it was as simple as that they were going to be in Japan, so they spoke to the largest Japanese car manufacturer and said, "We need a car." Um,
Yep.
and they sent over their latest model and found that Giza couldn't fit in it, so they had to take it back and mod it a bit. Um,
Yeah, that he probably looked awkward. I imagine they'd sent a coupe over, started filming, and went, "It's neck and a half bent over, isn't it?"
well, he has to get in it quite quickly. He's being shot at. He can't sort of
Oh
say,
my,
"Can you boys hang on a minute? Because I've got to. This is going to take me a second to get in here."
yeah, that's true because when it's all kicking off outside Osaka Chemicals there,
Osato, yes,
Osato, not Osaka. Sorry,
yeah,
that's a city. Um, no,
indeed.
yeah. Yes, you can't imagine him diving through the tiny door of a coupe at that point, can you?
He's going to do himself an unfortunate one, isn't he? Doing that, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that
Um,
would have ended his action film career right there.
the boys are whizzing round there in their whatever it was, black saloon car, and he's got to get in there a bit sharpish and speed off. And if he's trying to get the seat back and get the door open, and it's not gonna. The cool's gonna go, isn't it?
I
Really.
mean, I would have paid to have seen that, if I'm
Oh,
honest.
so I want to see that edit. Yes.
Because they must have had a coupe
Yeah. Well, they did. They
in
they
order.
did. A coupe was delivered to them. Yes.
Right, okay. That's all right then.
And then they tried him in it, and yeah. But
It
whether
just,
they were filming or whether they tried that before they were filming, I don't know.
oh my.
Whether they were in the middle of the scene and then they realised he couldn't get in it.
mm, I, oh dear. I
I hope
just,
so.
no, yeah, that would
Um,
have been fascinating. Just for reference, the you mentioned the black sedan there.
I did.
It was well. This is an interesting one.
Oh,
Uh, it was depending on badging. It was essentially a Toyota Crown, but sometimes badged Toyopet.
oh, okay. Okay, interesting.
So
Yeah, that
not
makes sense for it to be a Toyota. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, you would have thought so, but
yeah.
it was. I think the Toyopet thing was to do with. I think it was the first export to America.
Okay,
Think,
okay,
but don't quote me on that. But there you go.
okay. Interesting.
And that's
Interesting.
ultimately the one that gets stuck on the magnet and lobbed in the sea.
Just a drop in the ocean. Yes,
Exactly that.
yes.
He phrased it more elegantly than I did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
he had a yeah, he did. Yeah, well, he was going to, wasn't he? Really.
yeah. If Mr. Bond had said, "Yeah, just lob that in the sea," yeah, it's not as good, is it?
It's not the same, is it?
No.
No, it's not the same. Maybe there's an earlier edit where he did say that. Yeah, I don't know. It's
Yes.
let's hope.
Oh
Eh?
dear.
Yes, the director's cut will come out, and yeah,
Yeah, Connery just going for that. Yes, going just coarse, lovely.
yeah, just yeah, back to the Edinburgh truck driver, really. Yeah, yeah.
um. But other than that, not a vast amount of car action.
No, not at all. Um,
That kind of stole the show, and that was it.
that was it, really. What a
But it
thing,
is,
though. What a
but it is
thing.
a contender. It's right up there.
I think it's right up there. It was introduced in action,
Hmm.
um, and yeah, it did the business. Apart from the slightly speeded up film in a couple of
Don't worry
places.
about that.
That's
That was the '60s. It's fine.
it was the 60s. Yeah, cars don't corner like that.
No,
If they did, you'd break your neck.
yes, no. So we move on to
We do.
the singular instance of Mr. Lazenby.
The one shot Bond.
Hmm.
Yes, on Her Majesty's Secret Service. And another very strong introduction. Because the introduction of the car is tied up with the introduction of him.
Yes, yeah, it's all rolled into one, isn't it?
It is all rolled into one. A classic Bond scene. There he is cruising along. Early morning, you assume he's been in the casino all night.
Been on the
Um,
lash.
been Bond's been out on the lash. Yes,
Honestly, you wouldn't want to breathalyze him at that point.
you really wouldn't.
No,
You
he'd
really
be
wouldn't.
half
It's a
cut.
good job he was in Portugal.
Mm.
Yes, so there he is, and the red cougar, not like that,
No,
goes screaming past him, and no discipline this time.
no,
He's on it.
right in there. He's all up in
Yes,
that.
he is.
He's not exercised any self-restraint. He's going for it.
No, he's on that,
Uh,
and
yes.
yeah,
So she charges off and decides that wandering into the sea is a tip-top idea. So he drives down the beach and deals with that.
he does. In here, we should say Aston Martin DBS,
That's right.
um, the original. What a glorious vehicle that is.
Lovely.
The only problem with that sequence is the tires squealing on the sand.
That does happen.
It does.
We do.
Yes.
I mean, if we go back to Doctor No, there is some tyre squealing on the gravel roads as well.
Yes, I know.
But
Taking a little liberty in the edit there, but
it's fine. We'll gloss over that.
we'll gloss over that.
So yes, that is a really strong intro because it's the introduction of Mr. Bond in a different guise
Yeah.
and the introduction of the car as well.
Yes, it is.
And the car features throughout the rest of the film. It's not gadget laden.
No, it's
Uh,
not. He's got a sniper rifle in the glove box, and that's about it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's you couldn't really argue that's a gadget. Really, you can chuck that in
it's
any glove box.
it's not a gadget. No, indeed. It's just kind of there. So yeah, not gadget laden in this instance, but a fantastic car, and features throughout the movie,
Yes, it rocks up in various places.
including the very important ending.
Yes, that's where the demise of Mrs. Bond occurs, and
Yes,
yeah, it's still to this day it's uncomfortable cinema viewing.
it is, isn't it? It's a very powerful bit of cinema that, I think, as you once described it, bullet through the noggin.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
it's delicate, isn't
and through the windscreen of said Aston Martin.
it? Mm.
So that car is intrinsically tied up with the story of that movie.
And it
Um,
is, and to bring it slightly on trend, where you said at the beginning, you we went no time to die, and
mm,
this is how the topic started. I mean, that's how it ended of that film. As soon as we had the opening sequence of the latest movie, we went, "Oh shit!"
oh no, yeah,
Mm.
that's right. Have you not seen the other movie? You
Don't
can't be
say
doing
that,
that.
you knobbit.
No, that doesn't
Mm.
go well.
No,
Yes, indeed. It's possibly the most, how do I put it, most story bound car, actually, of all of them.
yeah, for
Um,
something that turns up so much, it's
yeah,
it's there throughout, no matter what he's doing, really.
yeah, it is. It's always there. You see it again and again. He's driving it to places. We see it in various locations in Portugal. We see it back in the UK outside M's house. You see it outside his hotel.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all over. It's the wedding car.
It is the wedding car.
Um,
It's covered in the flowers, and
yes.
that's the whole reason the poor lady gets shot. He's like, "Oh no,
Oh,
gotta take these fuckers off. I look
he's
like a right pansy here."
got a point.
Yeah,
We do look like an ad for a flower shop.
yeah.
Um,
Brought that on himself there, hasn't he?
he really did. Yes. He'd be much better off with the strings of Coke cans off the back
Yes.
bumper.
Yeah,
Um, but
yeah.
it's not. That would have taken the edge off it a bit, wouldn't it, really, if he's clattering down the road with that lot?
I mean, if you're driving a '60s Aston, you'd be like, "Oh God, what's fallen off?"
Oh, he'll have thought he's dragging the exhaust. That's
Yeah,
what's going
yeah.
on.
Oh bloody hell! The
Is there a
V8
quick fit
Verbals.
round here?
Yeah. Oh dear. But yes, a consistent car through the film, and I would say top three for intros.
Yes, I think so. Uh, a brilliant car used to great effect. Um, not at all wasted in that film,
No.
all the way through.
Okay. So
So yeah, a
that's good.
top
So
one.
right. So we're going back to the safety of Connery after everyone panicked.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Um,
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
and
Yes, they just
he,
threw money at him until he agreed to do another one. Yes.
and there is some car action in there. The DBS is there, as we've touched on. You see the
So are
arse end of
you
it,
are very, very, yeah, in the background being fitted with some things.
bits and
Yes.
bobs. But
Yeah.
none of the other cars are actually his. And uh,
No.
no, we got the Stag, which is Peter Frank's,
Oh,
um,
yes.
which is a miracle that never just overheated.
It's,
Uh,
it's
that
amazing that got to all the way to Amsterdam.
I mean,
Yes.
to be fair, the majority of it's on a boat, so it's fine.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Uh, so
Would you settle
the
for a tulip?
yes. So that's not worthy of an introduction, I'd say,
That's
because
not, no.
uh, and the Mustang wasn't his either.
Tiffany's red Mustang, it wasn't, although it does see some action, and
Uh,
he is at the wheel.
he's at the wheel, and it's one of those biggest faux pas in cinema, as we've touched on.
We have covered that before. Yes, it was integral to an enormous cock up. Yes.
Yeah, um, but for me, that's not up there in intros.
No, not at all. I quite like it, and I quite like its sequences, but no, it
No,
doesn't. Again, it doesn't really get an intro.
no,
She's just driving it.
it's just not it. While it is, like you say, there are some important scenes. It's not. It's not core Bond, that is it?
No, it's not.
You're never going to associate Bond with a Mustang, really.
No, you're not. Or indeed a moon buggy.
No, where even though a wheel did fall off of it, and that made it into the final edit.
Only available on widescreen prints of the film, though, which is why
That is-
it was missed on television for decades.
it's true. It is. If you're in 4:3, you can't see it bouncing out of shot.
You can't, but
No.
in full Panavision, you can see it. Yes,
Uh,
the wheel came off. Yes,
yes, not so good. Which is really not good on a three-wheeler. If
it's
it's
really
four,
not.
no, not good at all. But there we
You're
go.
not escaping on that. No.
Yeah. Um. All right then.
Now then, so we're a
Uh,
bit weak there, bit light there.
that is a bit weak, but I suppose we're not getting any stronger in Live and Let Die.
Well, no, we're not. We've got lots of Chevrolet action. Um,
Yes, they paid
it's
an awful lot of
everywhere.
money to
They
supply a
did.
sea of dreary.
They see well, they're all the same. That's the problem. It's not just different Chevrolets; they're all the same Chevrolet.
Yeah,
If you look at that sequence at the beginning,
mm,
where Bond's driver is shot and he has to drive the car from the back seat,
yes, they're you've got
they're
a
all
sea
the
of
they're all
some
the
of
same.
some of them are yellow because they're taxis, and then
Yes,
the others are various shades of boring because that's what the general public are driving. Oh, right, okay.
that's
They
right.
they
Bond's
don't.
car is a bright color. All the
Mm,
others are dreary. Some are three doors, some are four doors, two doors, some are four door. But they're all the same. Every car on the road is the
mm.
same model.
Yeah, I was fairly convinced that there were some Fords available in that particular era, but apparently not.
I've heard tell that Ford were doing reasonably well at that point. Yes.
But yeah, just there's nothing Bond
Um,
car worthy there, is there?
no, there really isn't.
No.
And then he's in a checker cab at one
Yep.
point. There's various Cadillacs, but he's not anything to do with them.
Bit of bus.
Bit of bus, yes, of course, yes. Which I always thought was a Route Master, but it wasn't, was it? It was
Is
something else.
right. Okay. Yes, you are correct on that. I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
I can't name it, but yes, you are right. Uh,
Um,
and
can't remember
apparently, he
the name of
drove
it.
it very, very competently.
Yeah, well, he was trained by a London bus driver who they flew out there.
That's
Um,
right. And the guy training him said, actually, if the arse falls out of the acting career, you're quite good at this.
yeah, I believe he was very good, and they got him out on a skid pan with it and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, they really taught him to handle this thing.
Mm,
And he, yeah, like you say, he did really well with it.
yeah.
But why they had him do it, I'm not sure, because in the movie you only see it from long shots. It could have been
Yeah.
anyone.
It's well, maybe he fancied it.
Perhaps he fancied having a go. Yeah, I'm James
Yeah.
Bond now. I'm gonna have a go at a bit of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Why not indeed? So yeah, that
Yeah.
was but again, not Bond car heavy.
No, it's not, is it?
Uh
Um,
well, and then moving
no.
on, the next one, not strictly his own cars, but very iconic for cars in the Man with the
Oh,
Golden
it's a
Gun.
good one though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, I presume you're talking about the AMC Hornet.
Yes. Yep. There's a lot
Yes.
of AMC in that.
It's all AMC, isn't it? Yes, they paid a lot of money to have
Have a bit of
weird weird American left-hand drive cars in Thailand.
yes, because
Drive on the right.
yes, I'm a bit weird because you had obviously had Bond in the Hornet chasing down Scaramanga in the Matador.
The Matador, that's right. Yes, so the
Sorry, the
bronze
Matador
car,
Coupe,
Matador Coupe. Yes, bronze
because
car
there
with a
was a
black roof,
cinema.
number 7543. Yes.
Yeah, they're very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, a little bit of Mercedes action there.
yeah,
Got a
yeah. This is
white
true.
Mercedes, isn't it, which belongs to Lieutenant Hip.
Yeah, that's right. And oh, Goodnight's got an MGB.
She has. Yes, that's right. And of course, a little bit of Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow.
Yep, yeah.
All green Rolls-Royces belong to the Peninsula Hotel,
There
which
you
is
go.
true and is still true to this day.
Is
They
it?
still have a fleet of green Rolls-Royces. Yes.
That's impressive.
Yes.
I like that.
They've just upgraded them over the years.
I was going to say, I'm assuming they're not shads anymore.
No, they're not shads anymore. They upgraded them over the years, and the Peninsula Hotel still has a fleet of green Rolls Royces.
Okay,
So there you
good.
go. Yes.
Oh, well, there we go. There's a
See what a posting of 2-year posting to staff intelligence does for a girl.
oh dear. But yeah, that's. Oh, I like that.
There you go.
Mm.
So yeah, they did quite a bit of automotive action there. Actually, now I think the AMC Hornet actually had quite a good introduction there. How about a test
Ah,
drive, boy?
yes. The Jar Jar Binks of the Bond world.
Yes,
There he is.
there he is.
Sheriff G.W. Pepper.
Yes, Louisiana State Police. Here's my identification.
Mm.
Yes.
Goddamn pointy heads, not good. Not
No,
good.
no, you can't
Not
say that.
good. Even at the time, that must have been bloody
Must
questionable.
have been a bit on the edge, that one.
Yeah, that was.
Yes. You can't say that.
But I suppose it's very in keeping with his character.
Well, yes, but even so.
Even that, mind you, that it does get broadcast on TV still, and that I assume it gets passed through because of those reasons of going, that's quite a redneck man.
Yeah. I guess it must do because I've never noticed that being cut out.
No.
So
No.
you have no more idea of traffic control than a Goonie bird.
Yes.
I want to know what a Goonie bird is.
I'm sure. I'm sure he knows what one is. It's just the rest of us who got no bloody idea. Unless you're from Louisiana as well.
I'm not.
Even then, I think it's questionable. I don't think he's a spokesperson for the state of Louisiana.
I hope not.
Oh, good God, no. All right then. So we've had a couple of Roger Moore films, and now we hit with possibly. I struggle between this and DB5 for best in.
Yeah, we're coming to another high point here, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's the Lotus Esprit.
It is S1.
Yes.
In white. And I believe PPW 306R was Colin Chapman's personal car.
Very good.
Because that was the only one they had.
Oh, right. That was your lot at the
Well,
time.
they only made so many, and
Well, true.
when they agreed to use it, and they said, "Well, we've only got one. It's the chairman's." And I said, "Well, ask him if we can have that."
That'll do. I mean, it's not like that one was going in the water. That was a model. Don't worry.
Yes, it was indeed. That was just a body shell.
Mm.
But yeah, strong introduction. Mr. Q driving it off the car ferry in Sardinia,
Mhm.
um, and quietly showing Bond all the bits and bobs, but without us being privy to it. I thought
That's
was
right. Yeah.
quite a nice touch. Look
Yeah.
what
That's
Q's brought for us, isn't it nice?
good. But yeah, it's I don't know. I couldn't pick between the two. I don't think so. It's a contender for number one between that and
It's
the DB5.
and very strong action. Um, yeah, it's that is a tough one. And
Yeah,
my opinion on that will probably change back and forth.
yeah. I think you and I will alternate between first and second for that and the DB5, and for
Mm,
me, in third position comes the DBS in On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
yes, I think I would agree with all of those thus
Oh,
far.
very
Yes.
good. Well, that was very succinct.
Yes.
We dealt with that.
We did, didn't we? Yes.
Yep,
Esprit in the water. Lovely.
all done.
Yes.
Other worth noting in that particular film, other good bits and bobs of cars.
Mm.
It was, well, to you and I, it would have been a Cortina. It was actually a Taunus.
It was a Taunus, wasn't it? Yes,
Yeah.
because that was the European version.
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
And we joke about it constantly. The Leyland Sherpa.
Oh, the cylinder head gasket.
That's the fella. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So there we go.
that's the one. Yes.
I couldn't get through it without mentioning that. So that's
No, you
fine.
got to. It's another high point.
Yeah.
Um, yes, indeed. Other than
And
that, though, I think we're
there's nothing much of interest. We've ticked off a bit of Lotus, a hint of Ford, and that's where it is really.
that's yeah.
Going from there, I mean, as we've touched on before, it should have been For Your Eyes Only.
Should have been. That's what it said at the end.
Yeah, and yet we ended up at Moonraker, which is
We
a
did.
sea of toss for cars, really.
There's nothing to work with there, is there? No,
Uh,
no.
no, they ended up in Brazil. There's going to be an awful lot of Volkswagen bits and bobs kicking about because that's what there is
Yes.
in Brazil.
There is a
Some
brief.
Chevys.
I'm sure there's a brief silver shadow
Yep.
that chauffeurs him from the airport to his hotel, and that's that.
That's
Um,
yeah, and
and
yeah.
what Manuela driving? It's some sort of weird thing.
Uh,
She's tailing him in his rolls, and I don't know what it is. I mean, Bond never goes anywhere near it, but she's driving some sort of. I'm going to have to look this up.
oh
It's some
God.
sort of vintage style thing.
Um,
I'm going to look it up. Hang
I
on.
think. Oh, it's. I'm gonna
There
go
it
on.
is.
It's some replica thing. I think it's a Laffer.
It is well done. I'm very impressed with that. It is. It's an MP Laffer.
Okay, it was something very specific to Brazil.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I have just found it. Yeah,
Right.
indeed. I have actually found a picture of Roger Moore with it, although he's never in it in the film.
No, he wouldn't dream of going near it.
No,
Yeah.
there you
Yeah.
go. Well, I'm impressed that you knew that. I didn't have a
Oh,
clue what that was.
I don't know why that's in there. I think that's from reading books of in recent times of just going, well, that's some nonsense to put in there.
Yeah, we just shoveled a bit more of that crap in there. Yes, absolutely.
One fancy thing actually. One of Drax's cars that ferries Mr. Bond around to where they're doing the shooting.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. There is a weirdness there, isn't there? Yes.
Yeah, that was an Hispano Suiza.
Of course it was.
Yeah, so there you
Of
go.
course it was. Yes,
But
indeed.
but still not colossally strong cars. But it's all right because we end up at Fioros only.
We do, and it all gets better again, doesn't it?
Yeah, we go back to the comfortable world of Lotus.
Yeah, we do. The Turbo Esprit this time around.
Yeah, yes, because we have a bit of Burgundy action, don't we? Well, not initially, but we do.
Not initially. It's initially white, and then it's burgundy. It was supposed to be white all the way through, but once they got to Cortina and it was in amongst all the snow, it kept disappearing. And the cameraman said, "Can we make this a bit brighter at all, chaps? Because we can't film it against all the snow."
Yes, not very helpful, but it did the trick. They threw in a bit of exploding car, and away you went.
That's right. We'll explain that. Oh, you see, you've managed to get the Lotus back together. Yes, and yes, resprayed in a lovely reddy bronze color. Which is very nice.
Very nice.
And some ski brackets on the rear louvers, and yes, OPW 678W was all ready to go again. Yes,
yeah, off she went. So that was good. Yeah, and we had some other treats in there. Backwards, forwards, quickly.
The De Chevaux, yes,
in the glorious yellow.
Yes,
I mean, it's something we'll remember forever because it was used in a good sequence.
It was used in a very strong sequence, chased by some Peugeots. And
yes, we had the 504s.
504s with the weird back end, yes.
Yep.
And it got utterly ruined, yes.
It did get ruined. We had, oh my goodness me, come on, brain, don't fail me now. Chap with the octagonal glasses.
Emile Leopold Locke.
Locke, yes, that's the fella.
Enforcer in the Brussels underworld.
That's it. So he gets kicked off the cliff in his Mercedes W115.
He does, yes. We see that car a few times, but it then eventually goes off the cliff, yes.
Oh, or was it the 116? Oh my goodness me, it's going to bother me.
Oh,
it's a 200 series, I know that.
It is a 200. I looked this up last time we discussed this, I think.
And yeah, so there's some strong car in there.
I'm looking it up.
And for good measure, there's a bit of Zamboni action on the ice rink.
Oh, well, of course. Yes, absolutely. It is don't know about that. It is it's a Mercedes 200D W115.
Oh, okay. I'm right. I got it right first time. I was second guessing myself.
You did. Oh, no, I tell a lie, actually. I tell a lie.
Oh.
He's in two different Mercedes.
Oh.
He's seen at the ice rink, he's seen in a black Mercedes with snow chains on it. That's a 200D. But the car he goes off the cliff in is a 450 SEL.
Okay. So does that mean... Was I right with the 116? Oh dear.
Girl, you've done it now, haven't you? Were you right with the 116?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm trying to find out.
116.
Bear with. You were right, I think, with the W116. Let's see. Yes, you were right with the W116. That's the one that goes off the cliff.
Right. Okay.
The other one that he's in Cortina was was a 115. Yeah, 200D.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Okay. That's fine.
Cleared that up. Then good Mercedes action there. Good Mercedes knowledge, but
let's
Christ,
let's don't go down the sprinter route again.
No, don't do that.
Not
you know what happened last time.
Oh. All over the shop. We ended up
we even had a naked bottom at one point. How the hell that happened? Yes, so a bit of Mercedes action there, a bit of Lotus, 2CV, some Peugeots. That was the first Bond film in a while where there hadn't been an occasional mini moke.
I think that's true. Actually, I think
yes.
Oh, but no, you're right. There was no action in there considering the amount that we've had before, like you say. No. But still, nothing to rival our top three there. I don't think. because it's
No, I
all the
don't
stuff
think
we'd
so.
seen, wasn't it?
We like the Lotus, and it's a different Lotus to the one we saw before.
Mm.
But again, it
But
doesn't get much of an introduction. He's just driving it.
that's it.
Um,
It's almost assumed that he's going to be in it,
yes,
which
because
yeah, that's fair enough.
he gets his mission, and then we see him on his mission, and he's just driving it.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's fair enough. But yeah, okay. Well, that's all right. The top three is intact.
I think
Um,
so.
so
Now
Octopussy.
then, Octopussy, a particular favourite.
Yeah. So
Um,
we are quite car heavy in this,
well,
but
we've got a lot going on here.
but none of these are Bond cars in the traditional sense.
No, I suppose not. We've got the three-door convertible Rangy, haven't we?
Yes, and
Um,
yeah, not his. He's a passenger. Really?
he is a passenger. Yes, do we don't see him driving that at all, do
I
we?
don't recall. No.
Or is he driving it right at the beginning when
Oh,
he's
when they
towing?
arrive, yeah,
Yeah,
entirely possible. Actually, yeah.
he might be. Um,
And then we've got. I mean, throughout the film, he's basically nicking cars.
well, he is, isn't he? All the way through. There's yes. Because
Excellent
he
car action, but none his and none worthy of an intro.
no, I don't think so. Even the Alfa Romeo. Um,
That gets
he
liberated because that's wasn't it someone who was in a phone box and he
yes, and
decided
wouldn't get off the phone, and he just took her car.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was pinched and chased by some BMW 5 Series, the old shark nose.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
E28, very good.
E28 police cars, very good. We've got a number of different Mercedes again of various vintages all the way, but we've got some 1960s Mercs right up to more modern stuff in
That's right.
that.
Yeah, they're
Um,
all over the shop in that.
but the one that he steals and then drives on the railway line is a 68 280 SE.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know the one you mean. Yep.
You know the one I mean. Because the Russians, or General Orlov, is in a Gaz 24 Russian car,
Hmm.
the one that gets hit by the train
Yep.
eventually. Actually, no, the Gaz doesn't get hit by the train, does it? The Mercedes gets hit by
Oh,
the
the Merc
train.
gets hit by the train. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
right. The license plate is General Orlov's.
yeah.
Yes, that's right. The Mercedes gets hit by the train. The Gaz just gets close to the railway line. It drives into the railway line where he gets shot. So, yes, we've got some BMW action. As I said, the police cars, a few good J turns and things like that with those.
Yep.
But yeah, there isn't actually a Bond car as such.
No, not at all. No.
It's all stuff he's pinching all over the place. But I think the Alfa Romeo GTV6 is probably the highlight there.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so. It's a stolen vehicle, but it's more than noteworthy.
Yeah, I think so.
But
Um,
yeah. Well, let's conclude the Roger Moore films with A View to a Kill, and again, no Bond cars.
no, we've got the Rolls Royce Silver Ghost. Is it?
Uh,
Or is it a Silver Cloud? Oh, I don't know all the silver numbers. Um,
no, I'm
because
useless.
it was Cubby Broccoli's Rolls Royce.
Oh yeah, it was actually his
It
car.
was actually his car, yeah.
Yeah,
And then when it came to sink it in the lake, what more Bond thing to do? They bought another one.
yeah. Don't sink his one.
No,
No, chuck anything else in there.
we'll just buy another one. It's fine.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of other stuff that crops up, we've
Oh, hang
obviously
on. I've just uncovered something. I've uncovered something here. Oh, now here's a thing. Now I think we might be right. Okay, so the car was a 1962 Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud 2.
okay.
Okay. That was the car, that was Cubby's car that was used throughout the filming.
Yep.
But the car they threw in the lake at the end, was a 1958 Bentley S1, which they had lightly made look like the Rolls-Royce by changing the grille, altering the bumpers a bit,
Okay.
just tweaking it a bit,
Right.
and then blowing it over with silver paint. And
Okay. I suppose
and
it looked close enough, didn't it? Yeah.
yeah, and it was only on screen for a few seconds.
Mm.
So they drive the Rolls-Royce up to the edge of the lake. Everybody gets out, cut away, cut back of them pushing it in,
Hmm.
and it's the Bentley.
Okay.
So they switch them. There, I didn't know that until this second when I just researched
Okay.
it.
That's good. That is useful information.
Yes, indeed. They
That's very
drowned they drowned the Bentley.
okay.
Probably because that was cheaper at that time.
I'd imagine that was considerably cheaper.
Yeah.
Um,
An
that
MOT failure Bentley, that's what's gone in there.
nice.
Yes.
So we've take that. Then we've got obviously the one that we all remember, but it's not a Bond car because it's a taxi. The Renault 11 that gets lopped in half.
Yes, indeed.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh, which is fair enough. But I mean, yeah, it's not again not worthy of an intro, really.
It's not. We've then obviously got the fire engine in San Francisco.
Mhm.
It was a La France 900. Just to
Very good.
get that in there. But again, not a Bond car, and that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
there's some noteworthy things, but they're just there out of consequence because, like we've touched on before, Jenny Flex has the Fuego.
he does. There's a Series 1 Range Rover
Hmm.
that Zorin is chauffeured around in.
But yeah, really quite uneventful.
That's about it, isn't it, really?
Yep.
Um, yeah, not a lot of car action. There's a number of Dodge Monaco and Plymouth Fury police cars.
Oh yeah, there's going to
Um,
be a sea of American toss.
loads. Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
Lots of that. And then yeah, that's about it for
that's your
Mr.
lot.
Mr. Moore, I think. Yeah. So not a lot of it is the Lotus, isn't it, really?
Yeah, that was his moment, and he might actually be a contender for number one. But like I say, depending on which day you ask us.
Yes, I think so when it comes down to it. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
However,
Okay.
however, we thrust forward to 1987
We do.
and the Living Daylights, and then you get a proper car.
Oh, yeah, you do. This is a favourite, this one.
It's a good car,
Yes.
and
Yes.
we end up with the Aston V8 Volante. Actually, the first time we see it.
First time we see it is the Volante, and then gets winterized and becomes the Vantage. Yes.
Yes, yes, which
Oh,
is
it's a good one.
it is, and that whole thing of we're just winterizing it and just taking the Aston out for a spin to Bratislava.
Yes.
Yep, very good.
And there it sits. It's a fantastic car, this one.
Mm,
It's a real favourite of mine, this one.
yeah,
Um, its introduction there, as soon as we come out of the pre-title sequence, there it is, sitting by the side of the road in Bratislava, and yeah, it just looks it's doing the business, isn't it?
yeah.
It's beefy and just yeah, works for me. That
Yeah. No arguments there. It's up there, but I'd have to say it does slot into position 4. I don't. I
hmm.
don't say it. I wouldn't say it cracks top 3.
Mm, 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 mm. No, you could be right.
Yeah, because
You could
it's
be right, actually.
well, the
Yeah, you could be
DB5
right.
and Esprit are without a doubt top 2, and then the DBS purely because of personal preference goes in at number 3.
Yeah, the
Um,
DBS is a good one.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then then throughout the film we get plenty of Soviet action.
Oh, there's
Uh,
lots of larders. Yes.
yeah, fair bit of Larders, bit of Trabant, all
Yeah.
sorts.
All
Some
sorts going on there. Yeah.
yeah, and I suppose there's a bit of Jag and Daimler going on at the safe house, just more as
There is,
background vehicles.
and a Range Rover.
Yep.
Um, yeah, indeed. Yes, there's a Series 3 XJ and there's a Daimler thing, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
never
yeah,
never remember what they are.
no, yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, that's that one is actually worthy of Bond car intro. That's right up there.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's certainly, certainly right up there, as you say.
Yes. So yeah,
Really, really good ones. Got some good action sequences. Got a nice update of the gadgets from the DB5,
yeah,
and
nice.
we see it in Q's lab, which is a hallmark of a good Bond car.
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Dalton got spoiled there. He
Yeah, he
really,
did.
yeah,
He's done well there.
yeah.
Yeah,
And to be honest, less spoiled in his next film though.
yeah. It all went a bit wrong there, didn't it?
Yeah, just I mean, well, he did go a bit rogue, so he's not going to get government handouts at that point.
No, well, he's driving some, as you might put it, American toss, isn't he? At the beginning.
Oh, he is, isn't he?
Yes, I'm just looking it up. What it is? Um,
Oh God, what does he arrive in?
it's a Lincoln. What is that? Lincoln Mark 6, I think. 1987 Lincoln Mark 6.
Oh
Um,
dear,
yeah, it's horrible, isn't it?
what,
Um,
what a thing to arrive in. Yes, because yeah, dreadful as I
yeah,
recall.
yes, and then he's seen driving that a few times because yes, he drives it away from Felix and Della's wedding, doesn't he? That's the last time we see it, I think.
Probably for the best.
I think so. Yeah, we just hope he pops that in a swamp somewhere. I think.
Well, he would driving it away from the wedding. He would have been cane in the booze.
That's true.
Yeah,
True.
he must have
Bond
been.
at a wedding. Yes,
He must have been absolutely twatted trying it on with every bridesmaid in sight.
you would have thought, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh my.
absolutely hanging by the end of the day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can imagine him just going near a lady and just a general gust of his breath and then passing out. Mm,
He'd have been right on it, wouldn't he?
yeah,
Yes.
dirty boy.
However, he's speeding off in the Lincoln nonetheless.
Dreadful car.
Let's hope Sheriff Pepper's not around. Um,
Yeah, there's not much else of note. Yes,
well,
he does.
other than a Kenworth tanker, that's about
Yeah,
it,
he
isn't
has a
it?
little drive in that, and Sanchez has the Maserati by Turbo.
He does, which is another awful.
It's awful, but kind of appropriate for the film.
There is another Shad, of course.
Oh yeah, Q's rocking about in there, isn't he?
Q's got a Shad. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's got a Shad too because he's got the rubber bumpers.
It is a Shad too. Well, it would be rubber bumpers anyway. He's in America.
True, yeah, safety first. Well, is he in America actually?
Oh
He's
well, no,
Mississippi.
he's in Mexico, isn't he? Sorry,
Yes,
yes. Pale blue Shad with the white wall tires. Yes.
yes. But yeah, nothing there that's going to trouble our top contenders.
I don't think so. No, we're not strong there at all. No,
No,
no.
and there we see the back of Mr. Dalton.
We do, sadly so.
Yes,
Yes. Pity we didn't see more of him.
yes, quite. But we do then move on to GoldenEye. And we've touched on the dreadfulness of Z3 initially because I wanted to do a sick in my mouth.
Yeah.
But before the Z3 was a thing in that film, we did revisit an old friend.
Oh, we did, didn't we? We
But
did. And
it,
I love the introduction of that car in
um,
that film. Straight out of the title sequence, and there it is, close up of the grill of it racing along, the sound of the engine. I think that's a fantastic little sequence.
yeah, that sorts everyone out in an instant, doesn't it?
You just know from that Bond is back.
Yes. And
Um,
it was that film was massive.
it was colossal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Considering
was.
the budget wasn't actually particularly huge.
No, not
Bond
at all.
speaks.
That film was as important in the franchise, I think, as Casino.
Yes. Yeah, this was a real stab in the dark after 6 years.
6 years of this kind of dead time, and was it going to work? Could Bond survive in the 90s? and yeah,
All as well as it turned out.
it was quite a gamble, really, especially with a new actor. Although an actor who'd had some success in similar roles.
Yeah, and well, we said before, this wasn't. He was meant to be Bond much earlier than this.
He was, and that all went a bit wrong.
Mm.
Yes, very upsetting. Yes, he was meant to be Bond when Dalton got it, but didn't happen for
Nope.
one reason or another. But that we could do a whole podcast just on that.
Yeah, there was a lot. There's lots behind the scenes there, but yes, the DB5 in that, it was nice to see, but it wasn't. It's not like we were going full gadget territory. This was just there was a
No,
lovely lady sent out to do an evaluation, and he flung her around some B roads, and then got her pissed on champagne, and
yeah, did what Bond does. Yeah,
yeah, he may have influenced the results of said evaluation.
what do you think?
Entirely possible.
This is the first time we get the sense that the DB5 is now Bond's personal car as
Yes.
well. That it's sort of that he's somehow acquired one, because it's different number plate, of course, to the original.
Different plates, not gadget laden, other than champagne cooler and a weird printer in the CD player.
Do you remember fax machines?
Yeah, no, it's good. So that
Helps
that's
you
good.
stay on the top of things.
Oh, yes, because that was definitely his personal car. Because then he got the company car that we already wanted to sick up about.
So you have problems with. Yeah, this is true. Yeah, but that's about it, isn't it? Really?
Yeah,
Well, apart from a tank, obviously.
yes, there is a tank, but yeah, I don't know much about tanks other than he was in
Well,
one. He drove him
no, but
through.
there is a thing about that tank. I don't know if I've ever told you
Oh, is this the Red
this.
Dwarf one?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, it
because
is.
yes,
I'm just trying to see it. It's a T55, if that means anything to you.
I'm not an aficionado, but yes,
No,
it
neither am
was
I.
borrowed, wasn't it?
It was borrowed for yes, it was borrowed over a lunch break by the Red Dwarf crew who were filming just on the other side of Leavesden.
Are you trying to
And
tell me that wasn't in St. Petersburg where they were doing the chase?
that's what I'm trying to tell you. um, that should come as a surprise to no one.
No.
So when Mr. Brosnan wasn't driving it, Robert Llewellyn was.
Yeah, that's been a star-studded tank.
What a thing.
Mm.
Yes. And they didn't, it wasn't planned. The Red Dwarf guys apparently realized that they were shooting, Bond was shooting with a tank just over the field there. And they
Yeah.
thought, oh, that'd be a nice way to end this scene. So
Well,
see if
come in
you can
handy.
borrow it over lunch hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's not like you're going to break it, is it? You're just going to break
Quite.
anything near it, so it's fine.
So when Mr. Brosnan was off having his sandwiches, they whizzed it over field and and did a bit of filming for Red Dwarf with it.
Well, there was all sorts going on during that particular shoot, wasn't there? Because there's some wonderful photographs where Roger Moore turned up.
Roger Moore visited the set. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, what a thing. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
some
that was-
pictures of him and Pierce together, aren't there?
There are, yeah.
Yeah,
So that was a quite a nice moment in time there.
yeah. And they built the studio. The Leavesden studio was built by the Bond team. It wasn't a studio before they got there.
No, that's right.
They converted it because they couldn't get Pinewood, or Pinewood was too expensive, or something. There was some reason they weren't going to film at Pinewood.
Yeah, there was something iffy about it until but all was redeemed when it came back for Tomorrow Never Dies, wasn't it?
Yes,
they
that's
went
right.
back.
That was back to Pinewood. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, there's a lovely segue. But
And
we've already touched on that.
We've already touched on that because we're firmly in the BMW era. A little bit of DB5 action there.
Little bit, just popping up to Oxford to Brussels, a little Danish, I believe it was, wasn't it?
Oh, there you go. Yes, he's a cunning linguist. Yes.
Oh my! Yes,
Yes,
uh,
you see, oh, how dirty. Um,
rude.
cheeky.
Mm,
Um, so, yeah, and then he drives it to London, to MI6.
mhm.
And then he's in another Daimler thing,
Yeah,
um,
yep,
with M. You'll
yes,
just have to decide how much pumping is needed, James.
quite, yes.
Um, and um, and then we're firmly in Germany with the 750,
Yeah, yeah, and
which
it's
was in fact a 740.
yeah. Let's not worry about that.
Mm.
But yeah, it was a good intro, and
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
yeah,
coming out of its packing container, and yes,
yeah, I enjoyed that enormously.
Hmm, I think so. And it was criticised a bit. Oh, you've put Bond in a sales rep's saloon. Although I don't think the 7 Series, it's fair to say, was a sales rep's saloon.
No,
But
but we mentioned this before because he was masquerading as a banker, and I
he
think that's
was.
quite appropriate.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Uh, and I think it was a good introduction, and I think it would probably slot in behind the Vantage from Living Daylights.
Hmm. Well, we like the E38 7 Series, don't we? We've even discussed it as a possible purchase.
Yeah,
We all like the E38 7 Series, and we have said it may just have to happen at some point. One of us is going to have to buy one.
yeah, I think so.
But
So yeah, I do. Yeah, I just like it. It's just
yeah,
there's
it's
nothing to
classy.
argue with there, is there?
No,
Timeless
not at
little
all.
treat.
Good
So
sequence.
yep, strong sequence, very good.
Yes.
So yeah, so happy with that.
Yeah.
Um, the world is not enough.
Mm,
Um, yeah.
mm,
Um,
yeah.
hmm. Well, we touched on the caviar factory right at the beginning there.
It another shad.
Yeah, bit of
Bit of shad action again.
mm,
There is some. I mean, Bond's not driving them because he's in his boat, but there is some interesting. Well, I say interesting.
well,
Um,
there is some British chod kicking about, isn't there?
there is some British chop kicking around there. We've got a Mark 6 Escort having a clamp put on it. We've got a Rover 800 police car,
That's right.
and we have a Vauxhall Omega police car.
We do. Yeah.
Um,
Uh, yeah. That's
about it, isn't it?
yep.
Um,
For such a strong film, it didn't rely on the vehicles.
Not at all. No, no, because even the Z8 is kind of incidental, really.
Yeah, really is. It was helpful for introducing R,
It
and
was, yes.
that was about
Um,
it.
that's about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Oh, we've done that then.
I think we have. As you
uh,
say, for such a good film, it's surprising how little car action there is in it.
yeah. All right then. Let's go for everyone's.
Oh
Oh,
dear.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
it's going to be a tough one, this.
Right. In
Aston
term,
Martin call it the Vanquish. We call it the Vanish.
absolute toss in terms of
Yes,
intro. Really bad.
I'm afraid so. Um,
Yeah, that's not going to go down as a classic,
it's
which is
not.
a shame because I love a Vanquish.
I do. It's a cracking thing, but its place in that film was just appalling.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm
and you
sorry.
just look at that and you say, you've given him an invisible car. We're
Yeah,
really scraping the barrel for ideas now,
we
aren't
are
we?
clutching at
What are
bloody
we
straws.
doing here? Come on,
Hmm.
please.
No,
Don't do that.
I got nothing there. I'm afraid.
And again, we've got a Jag XKR, another car we really like, but
Just ruined.
ruined in that. Um, we won't dwell on the Ford Thunderbird.
Oh,
Um,
bloody thing.
And yeah,
Oh god, right. Sweep it under the carpet. Right.
I suppose we could mention. Um, I'm just. There is a slight thing here, and I'm just trying to work out what the car is. Yes, okay.
Oh, is
There is
this
a
where they're lobbed out of a plane?
no,
Right. Okay.
no. This is nearer the beginning when he's in Cuba and he's driving a Ford Fairlane.
Oh, that's a nice hark back to Doctor No, isn't it?
Nice hark back to Doctor No and Thunderball.
Yep,
Because what's his name is driving
that's correct. Nice.
Count
That was
Count
nice.
Lippy, is it?
That's right. Yeah, I think so.
Yes, is driving a Fairlane in that as
Mm.
well. So I thought, yes, that I hate to say it, that's almost the high point of that film.
Yeah. Yep. I think you're right.
Yes,
Oh god,
a
it
lovely
was.
old brown Fairlane.
It had some white bits on it, didn't it? It was two tone,
It was two tone, white on top, brown on underneath. Yeah, yeah,
but
indeed.
still, yeah, we are clutching
But
at
not a
straws.
Bond car. We assume, being in Cuba, and Cuba's full of cars like that, that's just a hire car.
Yeah, that's what you get. You don't get a Vauxhall Corsa. You get that.
You get one of those.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Right. Okay. Sorry, Pierce, but we've got to move on.
Yeah, he's
Right.
not done well, has he? He's not
No,
done well.
poor sod. Right. Casino Royale.
Well,
And
we've got everywhere you look.
Jaguar Land Rover.
There's a Jaguar Land Rover
Or
product.
Ford.
Yes,
Or
or
Volvo.
Ford, or Volvo, or anything that group owned. Yes.
Right. Okay. So he was in a pre-production Mondeo.
It was a pre-production Mondeo, which
Great.
we, it's not even our favourite Mondeo, is it?
Not really.
Um,
No. I mean,
no,
okay.
as we've touched on before, the hotel car park is absolutely joyous.
Yep. It's just rammed full of it. We obviously get the DB5 again, but he wins it. It's obviously not his.
It's
Not
not
gadget
his.
laden.
No, it's a left-hand drive,
Yeah.
Nassau
NASA
registered car.
plates.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. So the Bond car in that is the DBS.
it is. Yes, and that comes to a sticky end. Its introduction doesn't really have an introduction, does it? It's just in the car park.
Yes, which is a shame because, well, actually, it's not too bad for shame. While again, this film is incredibly strong, but it doesn't have a big Bond car intro.
No,
But if you move on to Quantum of Solace, that opening sequence and that intro of the car, same car,
yes,
much stronger.
it is. Yeah, it's true.
That
Yeah, that's true. What? Yeah, a really tough chase sequence. Yeah,
lovely setting, good cars,
being
just
chased
strong.
by some alphas. Yes.
Alphas, few defenders in there for good measure.
Well, you got to do that, haven't you?
Yeah,
It gets a door pulled off.
yeah, but it's fine.
Yeah,
But
solid.
yeah, but
Got Mr. White in the boot. Yeah,
that's the good thing about it, though, isn't it? Because we can segue between the films without really noticing.
I think that's best, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine because Casino Royale was a masterpiece and didn't have to rely on its vehicles, where maybe Casino Royale did a little bit.
Just a little bit, maybe.
But in modern times, actually, now we've concluded the Daniel Craig films, Casino Royale fits better. Sorry, not Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace.
Quantum of Solace, yeah, as we've said before, has been made better by what has come later. Yes.
That's right, yeah.
Yes. But I think that's an accident.
Unless if it was incredible planning, then well done. But I don't think it was.
No.
No, but I'm happy that it's happened like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so
yeah, DBS is a high point there, but it doesn't really get a good introduction.
No.
Um,
No, not in Casino, but it gets a good introduction in Quantum of Solace,
in
like
Quantum.
straight away, because it starts with the screen black and just the engine noise.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you just see little flickers of shadow as it goes under the
Yeah,
tunnel.
love it.
Yeah, yeah,
Really like
yeah.
that. That's
Really
actually,
tight, close editing on the car.
yeah, that's really strong.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's one of the strongest chase sequences in all of them. I think actually
Yeah,
that is one of the best bits of that film.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
most definitely. Right.
and then I like how the fierce, ferocious, frantic action, and then all of a sudden calm as he wafts through Sienna,
Mm.
and then
Yeah.
just calmly gets out and opens the boot. And yes,
Yes, and then we immediately cut to the song that.
yes,
Mm.
indeed. It's a strong opening. I'll grant you that one. That one does deserve being on the list. Yeah,
Yeah, that is right up there. That is.
yeah, it is.
Um. Okay. Skyfall. Some
No,
some may argue peak Daniel Craig.
I do. Yes,
I do too. So, well,
yes.
say some. 100% of Stuff and
And
Waffle.
one, yes. Our survey said,
um.
well,
Okay.
there's a lot to chew on here.
Well.
One of my favorites here, and again, I think it gets quite a good introduction, is M's XJ,
Yeah.
because we see it racing around London, also wafting around London.
Yeah. There's a bit of
Um,
waft and there's a bit of a race and then some traffic. And don't you recognise the bloody car?
yes, just get out of the way.
Yeah.
Yes, that.
That all
Um,
kicks off.
that all kicks off, and then Bond takes it later on and clouts an alloy. Um,
Oh,
I'd like to know if that's got to have been an accident that they left in.
I would assume so. But I suppose it did fit with the spirited exit.
It did fit with the spirited exit, and he's going down quite a narrow street with traffic coming the other way. Yeah, and it's quite fierce, isn't it? Because it moves the car.
Yeah,
It's a real clout. That wheel, you're not having that refurb. That's had it.
that's you've gone on. If you've not buckled it, you've actually split the wheel. I think.
I think so.
Uh,
It really gave that a clout.
yeah,
Yes.
so that
I
that
like that though. I like that car.
yeah,
It's
that's a
a
good car.
yeah.
Uh, Bit of Bond action in a Jag, very brief, but
Yeah,
then
and he's not driven a lot of Jags over the years.
no, not at all.
Um, so that's nice. That was nice to see. Yes,
Um, but then we move on very, very quickly to a DB5 again.
we do.
And while it was a very gentle introduction, it was
So
incredibly well received,
it's a good one though, wasn't it? Yeah.
enormously well received, just because you open the door and you play a series of musical notes.
Yes. And
And it
there it
made,
is. Yeah.
but it made the audience go wild.
Yeah, it did. It
Um,
did. And there it was, just sitting there. Oh, I suppose that's completely inconspicuous.
yeah.
Yes.
And for that reason alone, it's got to go up there.
Yeah.
Again, it's not going to break the top 5 that we've almost got locked in now, but it's
Strong though, isn't it?
strong. Yeah,
Yeah. And they got the lighting right and they filmed it from a really good angle and it's got the right number plate on it.
dirty.
216 is back
Yeah,
and there it is. Yeah, brilliant. And
yeah.
then
So
off they go.
it's good.
Um, oh, go on then, eject me. See if I care.
Oh, so good.
Not very comfortable, is it?
Just now,
It's
I've only got to
a
drive
long,
all the way to bloody Scotland.
that's a long way to go here. Yes,
You've not
that's good stuff.
made it out of central London, and you're moaning.
You're moaning already. You're only 5 minutes from the garage.
um. All right then. Now,
Hmm.
if we take it from there and we go to Spectre, we end up at a Bond car that was made purely for Bond.
Yes, I suppose we do. The DB10.
Mm.
Yes, never went into production.
No,
Yes.
no. So we've
Yes,
got
yes, yes, yes.
obviously. The DB5 is in there as well, but it's almost compared to Skyfall, it's almost inconsequential, really.
Yeah,
Um,
it is.
but yeah, we got the DB10. Obviously, when he goes to the Spectre meeting, there is a sea of filth in the car park.
There is, isn't there? Yes. You
There's
take a
there's
moment on that scene. Yes.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. There's the one thing that I have noted in there that's of interest. There's a lot of sort of modernish stuff,
Yeah.
but someone has bothered to buy a Bugatti EB110 Super Sport and park it in the car park.
Really? I never noticed that.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
wow.
you can almost count the amount of those that exist on two hands, and that's your lot.
Yeah. Someone's put a lot of effort into that.
I just imagine. I don't know where you'd go to find that.
No, that's
Really don't.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Um, we've obviously got the Jag, the CX-75,
Yes.
for the chase.
Yes, that did well too. Equal to the Aston, really.
Yeah, they both sort of featured for the same sort of amount of time. We've got
Yeah.
the in the middle of that for some strange light comedy value. We've got the
Mm.
Fiat 500.
We have in an almost Roger Moore bit of comedy there in a
Really, really weirdly interjected there. I think.
it was really strange that, wasn't it? You're
Yeah.
thinking this doesn't belong here at all. But it did give after the really dark scene of the Spectre meeting and the
Mm,
thumbs in the eyes, it did give the audience a little bit of light relief.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, I'd
just
go with that.
a little bit of Roger Moore humor there, just to have a little chuckle at.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's fair.
think that's what it's for. And I thought it was fine. And then the airbag goes off, and yeah, there you go.
Yeah, happy days.
Yeah. Happy days, apart from that little Italian man whose car's buggered. But yes,
I was fucked anyway. But
there. Yes. So that was yes. That was nice.
yeah, that was okay. Right, let's bring
Uh,
it right up to date then.
if but just before we leave
Oh,
Spectre,
please do. Go on then.
an honourable mention and a particular favourite of mine, and another car which has actually been on our purchasing lists.
Hmm.
There is
Oh, I know where you're
uh,
going.
the Jag XJ.
Yes.
Um, M's Jag XJ, the X350.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a bit of you, that isn't it?
that's a bit of me. In fact, that may still happen. It was a well, there were a number of cars used. Some of them were earlier than others because obviously they didn't change that body shape for a few years.
No,
So
that's right.
I believe the car that Daniel Craig and Ray Fiennes are in was a 2006 XJ Sport
Yep, that sounds right.
with the 2.7 twin turbo diesel engine
Yes, I
was the
believe you
car
are
they
correct.
used. That car was sold not long after production, and it was indeed that spec. Funnily enough, it had an Exeter registration, which I think we've mentioned before.
Yeah, that would be nice to have in the collection, wouldn't it?
It would. WD06CCY
Hmm.
was an Exeter purchased Jag XJ. I guess they must have just because it's an old car, they must have just scoured Auto Trader for old XJs,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
one came from Exeter. So
yeah. Probably bought a few of the same vintage, and that was one of them.
lovely. That's and
Yes.
the fact that it was very much M's personal car.
Yeah, of
That just makes me want one even more.
course it does. Yes.
Yes.
No, that would be a good choice of a vehicle. Yes. No,
Mm.
that's definitely worth noting. Yep.
Yes, not a Bond car, but used in a good sequence. It had quite a nice introduction where it sort of glides out of the shadows,
Mhm.
and then you see sort of Bond and M just kind of cruising along in it, not knowing what's about to happen. And yeah, I think it's a really cool little sequence.
Yep. Yeah, you are 100% correct now, mate.
And I had a Jag when that movie came out. So I remember sitting in the cinema thinking, "Oh, cracking!"
Happy days.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Anyway,
Right.
that's just me. Moving on.
No Time to Die.
Yes.
Right. A lot of cars. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. We've obviously only fairly recently touched on this, but yeah, we're very Aston heavy here.
incredibly, but I mean, while the opening sequence was, I mean, it's car heavy. It's not classic.
It's not classic, and they're not even real Astons.
No. So
So
yeah,
that's a
that,
problem.
oh,
Um,
you've ruined that in one go. Very good. Right. Okay.
yes.
We'll draw a line through that one then.
Sorry about that, but they're not. So
They're
they
not.
don't really count. So,
No. The DBS Superleggera gets
hmm,
barely any screen time.
yeah, it does nothing.
The
Um,
Valhalla, I
does
mean,
even less.
blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah.
The V8 Vantage drives a bit.
I mean, that is at least a real one.
Yeah,
Um,
that is genuine. We've touched on that of going, well,
we've
that was
touched on that
borrowed. It was
because
real.
we figured out that car's history.
Yeah.
So that was a real V8 Vantage, at least.
The most,
It's the most interesting of the Astons in that film.
by far,
Yeah.
the most poignant Bond car in that film, and I'm going to call it now, was the Series 3 Land Rover.
Uh,
I think. I genuinely think that's the one that stands out the most.
yeah, you could be right, actually. Yeah, you could be right.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it probably does. We didn't touch on the Land Rover in Skyfall, actually, just thinking about that. But
No, we didn't, but that was Miss Moneypenny's, wasn't it?
it was. Um, yes, I think you're right. I think the Land Rover. I
It's
think
the,
it's just used in such a nice sequence.
yeah, I think it's the one that you can identify most with. I think it's just the the
They
Aston DB5 stuff in there that feels a little. I mean, it's not as far fetched as an Invisible Vanquish, but it's still a little over the top.
a bit forced, I think. I think the
Yeah,
use of the DB5 now generally has become forced. And it's like, oh, it's Bond. He has to be driving a DB5.
but
And,
but with
um,
Brosnan, they got that so right of going. He just drives it.
yeah, it's his personal car. He's using it to drive to meetings and
Mm,
things and go places. But when he's out on a mission, he's getting a car issued to him.
that's correct. Yeah.
Um, Whereas now it's well, and I know he's not on a mission in No Time to Die, or at least not at the beginning.
No.
He is off on his own. I don't know. We touched on this when we reviewed the whole film, but yeah, it feels a bit forced, and they're not real Astons. So,
Yeah. I mean,
um,
that you can almost forgive for filming purposes, but I don't know.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Clearly, they weren't going to smash up real ones. I mean, they're getting quite rare now, and they're worth over £1 million. So,
Yeah, they're a bit steep.
yes.
But yeah, okay, right. Well, the brass tacks.
Mm,
Number one and two can alternate
I think so, and we're going
between.
with
If
the
you had,
golfing a
yeah,
DB5.
yeah.
Yeah,
If you had to ask me today, I'd go Aston. But probably if you asked me at the weekend, I'd say Lotus.
yeah. I'm
So
probably the same. Yeah, yeah.
for me, number three would be DBS on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Again, that might change for me, but right here, right now, I'm going to agree with that. Yeah.
Number four, Vantage Living Daylights.
Living Daylights. Yeah.
Number five, 750.
Yeah. I think it has to be, doesn't it, really?
Um,
It's the
yeah,
most Bond of the non Bond cars.
yeah. It's the fact that it got so much screen time and they made a car that shouldn't have been that interesting really interesting.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They've really given that car something.
Yeah, they made
Um,
it desirable. It's a reason that you and I would quite happily buy one.
yes, it probably is. I don't
Mm.
think I'd be so interested. I mean, it's a good looking car. but I don't think I would be as interested if it hadn't been in that film. No,
Okay. Well,
no,
there we go.
indeed. I think we've
Well, that
covered that, chap.
yeah, that's it. We got introductions of Bond cars. We got a top 5, and we didn't even argue about that.
No,
No, I was
no,
expecting more contradictions from one another, but nope, that's it. With general
no. I
consensus,
think
is
I think
bang
we're on
on.
that.
Yep,
Yeah, I think we're on that.
good.
Very
Right,
good.
right. There we go. Internet. That's what it is. Don't argue.
I think it's just a terrible shame that he never drove a Mark One Focus because, as we know, you need to just go and buy a Mark One
Well, you
Focus.
just get. He's probably got one tucked away because everyone should just have one, really.
I think so. Yeah.
That's probably Mr. Bond's trusty steed for the weekend, isn't it?
He either got that in another lockup that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that's it. You'll see that parked in the Waitrose car park
Yeah,
because he won't go to Asda, but he will go to Waitrose in his.
I think Bond would shop at Waitrose. Yeah, and of course the
Yeah,
Mark One Focus is perfect for that. He'll get his weekly veggies in there.
yeah, it will get all in there. It's classless. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably enough of that for this week. Check us out on all the various social medias and things. Thank you very much for listening.